Now last thing for this project, we will create one search field. By that you can search your employee in your database. So back to my editor, this file of view from database.php file. Now in the same file I will add the search tab right at the top before this table. So bringing this file. So inside this file view from database.php, I will add here one field. So adding first of all one div, and that div will have a field set. Inside we will have one form, and here in this form we will have one input field. First one will be with the type of text and its name will be search, and then we will have another input field with the type of submit. Its name will be search button and its value will be search record. Now let's also add the placeholder inside this input field. So it will be search by name and SSN. So if I save this one and refresh my page of view from database, you can see we got this input field right here. So the idea is the user will put some SSN or name inside this field, and we will present the record in form of a table right below this field. So this field will search by name or SSN. So we have to first get this button of search record. So right after this div of search, we will have one PHP scope in which I will add the necessary thing to search records. So first of all, I will have this if condition. So I will say that if my this button, this input field is set, so if this search button is active, so by using the super global of get, I will say that if this search button is active, then you should perform all of this code. So let's also add the comment here. So ending of submit button. So if this search button is active, we will have one variable with the name of search that will be equal to super global of get, and it will get this field of search, this input field. So putting it here, we will have this variable of search, and then we will have one search SQL. So SQL will be select all the columns from my table of emp underscore record, where the ename or SSN column, because we said we are going to search by the name or the SSN, so where my ename column in my database is equal to this named parameter of search with the capital H at the end that I'm going to define in a moment, or my SSN column is equal to this named parameter of search that I'm going to define. Then on the next line we have to prepare our SQL. So I will have this variable stmt that will use our database connection of connecting db. So let's add this one in a global scope in case if you are working with the lower version of PHP. So adding the connecting db variable here, we already included this database file here. So by using this database we can prepare our SQL and passing my SQL here. Then on the next line we will bind values to our named parameter. So stmt calling the method of bind value and putting this named parameter here inside bind value function in a single quote, and in the second parameter I have to put the actual value so that this field will be SQL injection free. Then on the next line we will execute our query, so calling the execute method with the smaller e at the beginning. Then on the next line we will have our while loop, in which we will have this array of data rows that will use our stmt object and call the method of pdo, which is fetch, in order to fetch the data. So here we will have couple of variables. So the first variable will be our id, then we will have our variable of ename, then we will have our variable of ssn, then we will have our variable of department, then we will have our variable of salary, then home address. Now it will get our data rows column of id from the table. Then for this ename we have to get the column of ename, which is smaller in our database. Then for ssn we have to get this column of ssn. Let me show you which column. This ssn column, then dpt, salary and home address, exact name. Then inside the same scope of search button, I will add one table. So first of all, let's put this ending of while loop and our ending of submit button in a separate PHP scope, and closing first this one. So then we have this ending of our while loop. So here we will have our table that will have some caption. Its caption will be search result. So inside the first table row we will add couple of items here, table heading. So let me add couple of th here. So first one will be for the id, then we will have our name, then ssn, social security number, then department, then salary, and then home address, and then search again. After that we will have our table data inside one tr. So adding couple of tds here. So the first one will be for the id, so adding one php scope and echoing my id variable, this id variable. Then for my ename, then ssn, then department, then salary, then home address, and at last we will have one link here. So adding one anchor tag that will go to this page of view from database.php, so that the user can click in order to search again. So saving this one, I put every single thing inside this submit button, so you will not be able to see this whole table until you click on this submit button. So if I save this one and first refresh my page, so if I put this ssn of jazib here, search record, you can see I'm on my index.html page. It's because of not adding the action attribute in our form. So here you can see we have our form on line 14, so making the action attribute to get the php from this page of view from database.php, and its method will be get, because we will get something out of this field of search. And first of all, let's refresh this page to bring the new php. Now if I give it this ssn search record, you can see we got the search result of jazib here. And why it's not in the same panel? So our table is starting from here. It has the caption, it has the table data. So I will add couple of nested style on this table tag here. I added width, border, and align the center. And let's wrap up all of this table inside one div, so that it should be in the center of our whole page, almost center. So putting this ending div right after this table tag. So if I save this one and refresh my page, you can see it's in the center of the page. So here we don't have the link here. Why is that? It's because of not adding something here like search again, saving this one, refreshing my page. So if I click on search again, you can see I'm back to the page of view from database.php. If I give it name of Walter, search record, you can see this record of Walter. If I search my record of Akram, you can see this one. If I give it something like Nick, just Nick, search record, there is no record of Nick. If I give it this SSN, still nothing. If I give it this SSN, you can see this record. So we are showing just this variable home address here, but we are not showing the content of this home address variable. So back to my editor, you can see on line 56, we have to put this one in a PHP scope. So echo this home address variable in a PHP scope. So if I save this one and just refresh this page, you can see the home address New York. So this is it for this simple project. The basic purpose of this project is to build an application by which you can learn how you can work with the simple function of PDO and how you can change your simple straight HTML form into a PHP form and put the data inside your database. I used very simple function of PDO. I used named parameter and the query and fetch function to show you how to work with databases, but still there is many things to learn in PDO. I have a complete course on PDO, learning PHP data objects, PDO, in which you will learn all butter and bread of PDO. And you will also learn transactional statements by which you can create some complex application for some enterprise. So must check out this course. And one more thing, in this project I use very simple SQL statement. You've seen the query to insert the data, you've seen the query to search the data, you have seen the query to update the data, you have seen the query to delete the data. But SQL is not that narrow. You can do a lot of things with learning SQL. SQL is a vast language and it has variety of functions that you can use to create more powerful application. So I try to show you the simple things inside this project. In case if you want to learn the complete SQL, you can visit this link and check out my course of Learn to Build SQL Query, where I will teach only SQL statements. There won't be any PHP or anything like that. There will only be SQL queries. So must check out this course of Learn to Build SQL Query, Ultimate SQL and Database Concepts. So this is it for this project. You can design this and take it to the next level. You can add HTML, CSS and bootstrap more. You can see both of these fields are not in the center of the page. You can make them in the center, but I will not waste any of your time in the styling. Let's move to our giant CMS project.